Good evening, everyone. I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit-Chat. All right, it's Wednesday night. I'm wearing my gaming headphones because I thought, hey, gee, let's buy some gaming headphones. I didn't realize they would be so big, but they are exceptionally comfortable, so I guess I'll keep them. Okay, so this is the Dave Ramsey Show. I'm 76 and $97,000 is in debt. What else we got to do on Wednesday night but learn from people's money mistakes? By the way, before I even start this video, before we watch it together for the first time, I'm hoping this is not student loan debt, because at 76, if this is student loan debt, tisk tisk, we cannot file bankrupt on it. Let's hear it. And we'll minimize this down. Thank you so much for joining me. Here we go.
Rick joins us up next in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Rick, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on. I listen to your show all the time, and I also look at his daughter's YouTube.
Oh, yeah, Rachel Cruz show. Well, thank you so
Yes.
much, Rick. How can we help today?
Been a fan for many years. My daughter recommended you a number of years ago, so you helped her too. Anyways, I'm 76 years old, and I'm $97,000 in debt.
All right. How many people right now are breathing a huge sigh of relief that this isn't you? Okay. And I know I certainly am. But we have to remember this can be to someone we love. And all we can do is learn from this.
My income is $4,000.
Okay, where does the income come from?
Two from mine and my wife's Social Security, and her a retirement pension.
Okay, and that adds up to $4,000 a month?
Yeah, and she's been working part-time, and I've been trying to work part-time. So
I have two not so great knees. If you've hung around this channel, you probably already know that. I don't want to work at 76 years old. I think about the age of my dad, all right, in his early 80s. I couldn't imagine him going to work. I just couldn't imagine it at that age. And he's only about maybe 5, 6 years older than this gentleman caller. Going to work at 76, and he said it was Social Security income and his wife's, which leads, and if they only have a $4,000 income, so let's say $4,000 between the two of them, let's just say that average is $2,000 each, this tells me they saved nothing. Well, actually, we already know that. We know they saved nothing because he's $97,000 in debt. So you can work your entire life, and if you are not careful, you can have absolutely nothing when you retire. And I think we all know that, but I think it's when we hear people calling in, and this is only about a year ago. Okay, so about a year ago, to be 76, and people can say, "Oh, I'm just gonna work till I drop dead." Well, your body may not allow you to work till you meet your maker above. It may not allow you to. Your mind may break down. You may just one day get so tired. I could not imagine being 76, $97,000 in debt. I can't imagine it. Yet, in some ways I have to be able to imagine it. In some ways I can't imagine it, because if my $110,000 student loan had not been forgiven, I guarantee it to you, I would have retired with my loan. And of course, that was $110,000 in 2022 when it was forgiven. So imagine what it would be another 12 years from now, approximately, when I retire at 67 and 68. So it'd be even higher than that. So yeah, and that's a debt I couldn't go bankrupt on. And heck, all they could do is take out, the wage garnishment. That would be it.
anyways, I'm 76 years old, and I'm $97,000 in debt. My income is $4,000.
Okay, where does the income come from?
Two from mine and my wife's Social Security, and her a retirement pension.
Okay, and that adds up to $4,000 a month?
Yeah, and she's been working part-time, and I've been trying to work part-time. So our total expenses are a little over $10,000 a month.
Total
And
expenses?
What is that coming from? The debt interest?
Credit card. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. it's. I want to be respectful, extra respectful because of their age. There's something about when we hear young people doing this, we tend to scream and bad, bad, bad. But man, when you hear people at this age doing this, your heart just breaks. It's like you can't even get mad at them. You know what I mean? It's like scolding your great grandparents or at least your grandparents. You just wouldn't do that. It's easy for me to look at someone who's my age or younger, even a few years above me, and go, okay, this wasn't so great. Looking at somebody who is my father's age, and you just have to go, what the bejesus went wrong? What, that not a dime was saved, nothing was paid off. It makes me wonder if they didn't just live above their means all these years. Because even if you had medical debt, you could file bankruptcy. Honestly, we're only a minute into this video. I would already tell them, if you can file bankruptcy, do it. I mean, really, what's it going to do at this age?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
is
interest.
so is the 97,000 all credit card debt?
Let's see, I had it down here.
He just sounds frail. It's because when you get near your 80s, you are frail. I mean, I know people like to say they're not. Maybe I won't feel that way either. But to a certain extent, there's a certain. I mean, oh my goodness. Yeah, there's a certain frailty at that age. I mean, when I'm 76, I don't expect to be picking up, 175 pounds. The occasional 200-pound weightlift days that I have are, they're slowly going down. I kind of hang around the 185-pound now, comfortable 165 pounds. For those who don't know, I do heavy lifting.
97,000 is the debt, and I just had it down here. My battery ran off.
Oh,
My
that's
credit card debt is about a little under 50,000.
Of credit card debt. What's
Okay.
the other type
Amen. It's not student loan. I would tell him file. I can tell you that right now. File bankruptcy.
types of debt?
Let's see, I got my truck is 675.
What's the total loan on the truck?
$18,933.
Okay. Do you know what it's worth by chance?
Well, with the mileage on it, it's probably worth about that.
Okay.
I've got almost 300,000 miles on it.
All right. That still leaves us another 29,000 or so in debt. What's the other debt? You got the truck, the credit cards. What else?
I got my wife's car.
Okay. What's left on that loan?
Wow.
Is it more than the truck?
$3,092.
Oh, okay. And there's still a whole bunch left there on
All right.
top of that.
George,
So,
you got to walking through the debt snowball. We got to figure out these cars as well.
yeah, Rick, number one, it's not
This is a mess. This is a retirement mess. All we can do is learn from this. But this, holy cow! I wouldn't wish retirement like this on an enemy. It makes me wonder if this is just an extension of how they've lived their whole life with money. Remember, I did a video. I will try to remember to upload it at the end. Okay, because what night? It's October 8th. Oh, excuse me, November 8th. November 8th. So it's Wednesday. I will try to upload it this evening. I will try to remember to upload it at the end of the video. The couple who had been married 40 years, 40, have nothing for retirement. This is what they're looking at. This is that couple. And her husband is, I think it was a trucker. And they just keep going. And they actually said to her, what are you going to do to retire? And they're like, we don't know. But they have the designer dogs. They have the, nice house, lots of stuff. 40 years together. Nothing saved. All spent. Well, this is what happens when nobody puts the brakes on the spending.
not going to be fun or easy, but these cars need to go. It's one of the only kind of reversible debts you have on this list because we can't sell the credit card.
Why are they not just suggesting bankruptcy to these guys? I understand there can be a pride thing and all that, but you're 76. They're clearly upside down on their bills. You know, at this point, 76. I mean, excuse me, bankruptcy. Filed bankruptcy.
Debt back to the company, but we can sell these cars and potentially get out of
Well,
a chunk of this.
My truck I use for work.
I was just gonna
I got the truck on.
exactly. I was just gonna say they're both holding part-time jobs. They're probably not going to be taking the bus at this age.
I've
What
got
are you doing for work?
No extra income. I haul recreational vehicles. I drive to Indiana, pick up an RV from the manufacturer, and take it to dealers all over the country.
Guys, he is one accident away from being considered too old to possibly drive under a commercial license. Assuming this is it a CDL, commercial driver's license? If he's doing this for pay, he is one fender bender bumper sticker kiss away from somebody going, no, you can't drive. You're too old for this.
But any truck can do that. It doesn't need to be a $20,000 truck, right?
Well, it has to be a big truck. I've got a Ford F-350.
Yeah, he's got to be able to tow it.
Diesel, that's what they require.
I do understand that. I think the bigger issue is what's a better line of work for you, where we're not having to do
It's very difficult because I've got extreme health problems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so 76 years old, $97,000 in debt, extreme health problems, and doing a very mentally, is it laborious? A mentally laborious job? I mean, you're on the road. Like I said, one bumper kiss away out of a job. At least driving. I don't even know if you should be driving at this age. Not like this. But then I don't know. You know, I'm not 76. You know, I can already tell you, even in my late 50s, I don't like driving at night. I mean, I can, of course. I prefer not to.
I've had 2 different cancers. I've had heart bypass. I've had carotid bypass.
But hauling all this equipment across state lines, that feels like a heck of a lot of work for a guy in your shape then.
Exactly. Incredibly. But here's the thing. When you are so far in debt because you never saved anything, okay? Even with medical bankruptcies, okay? I mean, if this is all medical, file bankrupt on the sucker. File bankrupt. Don't. There is a point, and I can tell you this from my experiences, there comes a point when, you know, you're losing more trying not to go bankrupt than if you just file bankrupt and start over. And if this would allow them to clear all that debt, maybe downsize their lifestyle and live the rest of their years in peace, I would tell them to do that. I understand the Ramsey show never says file bankruptcy, but let's remember Mr. Ramsey has filed bankruptcy himself. Okay, there comes a time sometimes I think when it really is the smarter thing to do. And if this case isn't an example of it, I don't know what is. But it is very clear they saved nothing. They were relying strictly on Social Security, from what I could tell. I think he might have said she had a little something from his second job, but relying on Social Security and you having to work part-time into your 80s,
Well, no, I'm just driving. I can do that.
It's not about the driving. It's about the mental alertness. It's about the quickness, the response, the reaction. That's what it's about.
All right. Well,
And then my wife, she needs hers for work.
Well, I still think we need to sell these cars and get cheaper versions that we can pay cash for. That's the bottom line, because there's not a lot of wiggle room here. We're not going to make triple the income.
and let me ask a follow up here. Is the Rick, is the $4,000 a month income that includes the Social Security plus you and your wife working part time jobs?
No.
Okay, so
That's
it's more than
Social-
4,000.
Yeah.
What's
yeah,
your-
we've been scraping up to 10,000.
Okay.
So you're saying you have
But I've
10,000
got to-
monthly
I-
expenses. So you're making up the gap at
Yeah.
$6,000 with your part-time work together?
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's a little bit
Well,
different
it's
picture.
actually, I say it's not. Mine is really not part time.
Yeah.
I go all the time.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's basically holding a full-time job on the road at 76 years old.
Picture
I'll go
has
out for a
changed.
couple weeks. And
Yes.
So they're scraping 10 grand a month together.
So now the question is, how can we get
We've
these
got to
debt
reduce
numbers down?
expenses. Yeah.
I mean, I want you guys
Yeah, well,
to
the-
be able to retire, Rick. Isn't that the goal?
Why don't they just tell them to file bankruptcy? Truly, if this isn't a bankruptcy case, I don't know what is. I really don't know if this is not a bankruptcy case at their age, their medical and health situation. I don't know what is.
Goal? To not have to do this
Yes.
anymore?
Yes, I'm going to be 77 in January, and just this past month, my wife came up with breast cancer.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
Gosh.
oh my goodness.
Now she's out of work.
But to me,
Oh,
that
at
changes
least-
the whole
at least
picture, Rick. I
7
go,
years.
what needs to be true for us to be able to retire, for us to take care of ourselves and deal with these health issues?
It's called we have to have a plan. We have to have a plan. We have to have a plan. We cannot just sit and say retirement will take care of itself. We have to have some sort of strategy. Let me tell you something. In my early 30s, okay, and my parents are all retired teachers. No one was ever laid off or unemployed. No one. Okay. And I can tell you, well, teaching is my dream job, and it is. It's my dream job. All right. Wanted to be a teacher since I was in sixth grade. I absolutely love it. All right. But I would not have entered teaching if it wasn't going to provide me some sense of retirement stability. Like in this case, the Florida pension system. Okay, as much as it's my dream job, if it was going to be like, well, you can do your dream job, but it's not going to provide you anything, I would have had to have said no and looked for something that would have had some sort of future financial stability. I just happen to be very lucky that my dream job is teaching, okay, which happens to have some level of financial stability. In fact, it's not unusual for teachers to be better off retired than they are working, because teachers take home we have income from different avenues. I'll have my private savings account, I'll have my pension, Social Security, okay. You have to have a plan though, and that I started working on that idea at the age of 34. So for all my financial mishaps, all the errors I have ever done wrong, the one thing I have done right, okay, was plan on a job that would give some sort of pension stability, Social Security stability, plus finding a way through the grace of God. My $110,000 student loan was forgiven last year. That gives me 12 years to put away a whole bunch of money. And I've already started, it's 30%. Okay, when I got debt free late this summer. Okay, I think it was it was September 2023. Okay, and I am not kidding. I didn't spend a whole lot of time partying and celebrating. Go, oh, I'm debt free. I'll just what is it, waste money for a couple months and then get serious about saving. Now I became debt free 9 months earlier than I had planned, and as soon as I got debt free, within 2 weeks, boom, started working on a couple month emergency account, which I secured that, and then boom, straight into my retirement plan, which I'm a couple months ahead on that as well. I always like to be a couple months ahead of my retirement monthly savings, because by being a couple months ahead, if I have, let's say, an emergency, okay, and I can't put money into retirement for, say, a few months, because I'm a few months ahead, that gives me some buy time. And to be even more specific, what I did to help plan was I'm about $5,000 ahead in my retirement savings, okay, because like I said, I just opened up the account, and even though I didn't plan to start till January 2024, I was like, you know what, let's just get this account started. Let's get 5,000 in there. Let's get it going. Because I'm actually $5,000 ahead, I did that intentionally. Why? Because what happens if my place needs a new HVAC system, and I get my I get my maintenance done to my air conditioning system every 6 months. And I said to them, what would it take to bring this whole thing up to code when the AC system dies? So remember, I'm only 840 square feet, but still, they said about $6,000, maybe $7,000. So I'm like, okay, so let's get $5,000 ahead in my retirement savings. So when that happens and I have to go, whoa, I can't put anything in there for a couple of months, I'm okay. That's the type of planning. That's the type of strategy. Okay, that's how I do it. I look at, what is it that I'm going to do? What type of retirement do I want in the future? I am not looking to travel around the world. I'm not looking to join a fancy golf club. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for stability. Okay, maybe a couple trips around, cross country to visit, family, loved ones. Okay, that could be my big thrill. Don't need to travel around the world. I mean, great, if If I can, that'd just be wonderful. But that's not the goal that I'm saving with. These people did not plan so much as an AC repair, from what I can tell. Nothing was planned. And I suspect everything that they are living today at 76. I will bet $1 that's how they lived all their life as a married couple. Everything was spent. Okay? Nothing was saved. The only difference is they've just gotten older. And we're seeing what happens. I will link that story at the end about the couple that was married 40 years. And they have nothing. And even though the video was 11 years old, it's relevant. It's what we can learn from it. That's the neat thing about these debt stories. It doesn't matter when the story was told. The lesson can still be learned.
And that means I'm sacrificing by getting rid of these cars that have debt on them. And if that means I get a real old truck that still gets the job done or even change my line of work, I'm going to be willing to do that because you're going to need to be home pretty soon.
I think he'd be better off changing his line of work. I hate to say be a Walmart greeter, but just think about it. Become a Walmart greeter. You go down to one car. All the expenses you wouldn't have to pay if you just did a simple local job. All the expenses you wouldn't have to pay.
To help take care of your wife, it's going to be hard to be on the road all the time.
Do you have anything, Rick, that you can sell? Do you have other assets that you can sell that we would have to change your life?
Do you have anything in retirement accounts, savings accounts?
No. Actually, we're worse than broke. Our bank account is $980 in the hole.
Oh, I'm gonna step lightly saying this, okay? This is not because of their medical condition right now. This is because of a lack of planning in at least their 40s, and definitely in their 50s. This is what this is. Yes, they have medical issues and stuff, but you have, I think, Medicaid, is it? I can never remember which is Medicare and Medicaid. I know one is for the federal government for people who have, who are maybe short on money and need help, but the other's for the people who have retired. I can never keep it straight. I've never been able to. So it's the one that after you retire and you're like 67 or 65, whatever your retirement age is, okay, I think that's Medicare. I always get it confused, so my apologies. This is their financial situation is not because of the medical they're in now. Their financial situation is because they never planned anything. So they're like a grand in the hole. They've lived their life like this. Like I said earlier, all you're seeing is their 40s turned into their 50s, turned into their 60s, turned into their 70s. This should scare people straight in wanting to go, we need to do something about our retirement. And again, it's not about retiring rich. I don't need to retire rich. I need to retire with a plan. That's what you need.
Oh my
And
goodness.
the bank's been working with me. They're not charging me the NSF fees. So I do have a book.
I got to play just that 2 seconds. I think he said he's like 900 something in the hole.
Oh my goodness.
And
Hold on.
the bank's,
Hold on.
No, actually, we're worse than broke. Our bank account is $980 in the hole.
Oh my
And
goodness.
the bank's been working with me. They're not charging me the NSF fees. So
The bank probably feels badly too. I mean, he's 76 years old. What's charging a 76-year-old NSF fees going to do? When are you going to get paid back?
I do have a boat, but
Sell the boat. File bankrupt. I almost think that George and host are doing a disservice. The guy needs to file bankrupt. Drop it down to one vehicle, file bankrupt, reorganize your life, and live out the rest of your days to the best of your ability. All we're seeing is what happens when younger people become older people with the same careless, irresponsible financial pattern if they don't change it.
I've been trying to sell it and
What's it worth?
just probably about $10,000.
Okay.
I owe $3,000 on it.
What
All I would definitely sell the boat, make it more attractive. Drop
What does a 76-year-old, $97,000 in debt need a boat for at this point?
up the price a little bit to get rid of that debt, plus come up with a little extra cash. I would hope to sell the boat right now and pay off the boat, and then pay off your wife's car.
And you know what's sad? Or equally sad? This whole situation is sad. Almost like you can't even get angry over it. Because the situation is just sad. It's just a sad situation. What's also sad is, okay, so maybe they can sell a boat 10 grand. It's not even going to put a dent in what they have. They're almost a grand, they're nearly a grand in the hole. And again, this was a year ago. I am doubting their situation is much better if they didn't file bankruptcy. Okay? This isn't an old video. I pray that they filed bankruptcy. But the sad part is, and I discovered this too when it came to student loan, and I think why so many people are slow to pay off their student loans. When you are so far in debt, it doesn't matter it doesn't seem to matter what you put towards it. You're not going to get out of debt. My owing $110,000 on student loan, even if Biden's forgiveness had come through and he gave me $20,000, guess what? I'd have still, actually, no, I would have gotten $20,000. I think that was for the family leave debt or something like an FFEL loan or something like that. Now I'd have gotten the $10,000. So at $110,000 student loan debt, take $10,000 off, I'm still 6 freaking figures in the hole. And I think this is why when people get into really large student loan debt, that's why you become less and less motivated to pay it off. Because you can't see the end. You owe $55,000 on a student loan. You go, yay, put $5,000 on it. It barely feels like a dent, which is part of the dangers of having really high student loan debt or any sort of debt. Same thing with credit card debt. I find for me, okay, this stage of my life, if a debt goes beyond, this is just for me, okay? If a debt's higher than 5,000, okay, at this stage of my life at 56, with what I can handle financially, if a debt is beyond 5,000, I can't see the end of it. I don't want to look at it. If it's 5,000 and I put, a couple $1,000s towards it, okay, I can see that. But you start talking, for me, you tell me it's a $30,000 bill, I put 5,000 on it, I'm still in the 20s. This is why we have to be so careful with how much student loan we take out or how much credit card debt we take out. The further you get from zero, the less motivating it gets. Because you're like, why would I put $1,000 towards a debt that I owe, okay, when that $1,000 isn't even going to make the debt balance needle move? I just soon as take that $1,000 and put it towards something fun, at least get some sort of immediate gratification off of it. Not saying that's the right thing to do, but I genuinely believe that that's why as debts get bigger and bigger, things like credit cards, things like student loan, as they get bigger and bigger, the further you get from zero, it is my experience, you become less and less motivated to pay it off. Now, we all know that mathematically, if you will stick to it, yes, it does eventually go down. But it's getting past that hump of where it just seems so big and so unmanageable that you can find the motivation to stick to it and pay it off. Hope that made sense.
All right, that's a start. Now we got some momentum. How would that feel? I want you to just take yourself.
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's can you do something that'll make it, make the engine go vroom vroom and put that fire sort of in your eyes. A good example, let me jump in again, I'm sorry. Oh, heck, if you listen to this channel, you're used to my yammering, okay? A good example was my mortgage, okay? Part of the reason when I got this condo, okay, behind me here, part of the reason I wanted a small loan, it wasn't just because I wanted to pay off the condo quickly. That wasn't fully it. It was my experience of knowing that the further I am from zero, the harder it would be for me to get motivated to pay off the debt. It's just natural human instinct, okay? And so I knew that the smaller my mortgage would be, if I could keep my mortgage as small as possible, I could have very comfortably purchased a $200,000 condo. I could have had something twice as nice, yada yada, okay? But that wasn't what I was looking for. I was looking to pay it off fast. And I knew to pay it off fast, that part of what was going to drive me was how quickly could I get that balance down to zero. Well, by purchasing half of what I could afford, I wound up taking out a $45,000 mortgage instead of say $145,000, even though I could have completely comfortably afforded it. All right. Um, Knowing that I needed to stick as close to zero as possible to keep the momentum going, and it worked. Okay, it worked. 45,000. I'm like, okay, and they actually, get this. My mortgage company even tried to get me to put my car on the mortgage. All right, because I lease a vehicle because I love it. All right, and they were like, oh, we could put the remainder of your car lease on the mortgage. Now, here's two reasons you don't want to do that, because I used to work in insurance. All right, I used to be a car insurance adjuster. One, you don't put the car lease on your freaking mortgage because you're now going to pay interest from your mortgage, and it's going to be tacked to your car lease. You're already paying for your car lease. Now you're going to transfer that lease to your mortgage. You're going to pay mortgage interest on your car lease. So that's just kind of silly. But there's also a second reason you don't want to ever pay more on your car lease than what is due. If you get into an accident, all right, you're leasing a car. And like I said, I used to be a claims adjuster, an auto claims adjuster. If you get into an accident, you're leasing a car, all right? Whatever you have already put on the car lease, and if you should total your car, good luck getting that back from the car company. So you never ever want to pay your car lease in advance. Always pay your car lease month to month. If you want to, you could always keep it 1 month ahead. I keep mine 1 month ahead. That's it. That's as much money as I'm willing to lose. I keep my car lease 1 month ahead, so I'm never ever just so I never have a late payment. But never roll your car lease over into your mortgage. My mortgage company actually tried to do that because my $45,000 mortgage was so small. They were looking, hey, we can put your car lease on here and yada yada. You don't want to do that. This is why we need to keep our bills low, and why, if you can become debt free, you certainly want to before you retire or very close to retirement. This is just sad. I mean, this isn't something I can, you can't even, I think it's past the point of even anger. But this is how they've lived their whole life. I guarantee it. Bet a buck. I'll bet $1. This is how they've lived their whole life.
How would that feel if you did that with one sale?
Well, the first thing they got to do is they got to get the bank account up to zero. So we're not talking 10,000 on, now we're talking 9,000.
I'd feel pretty good.
Well, that's a start. And as you keep doing that, you're going to free up more and more of these payments, which means that $10K can go a lot further and help you knock out other debts. But, Rick, this is an emergency situation. We've got to just sell anything that's not tied down, do as much work as we can, and you're 76. I mean, now's the time to start. The best time.
Now's the time to file bankruptcy and give it up. You lost this game.
Time to plant the tree was 10 years ago. The next best time is today.
I can tell you this. I feel very, very fortunate, very, very blessed that I have 12 years to sock away a lot of money. Okay, and we're talking on a teacher's income, one person, teacher's income. All right, I have 12 years to sock that away. It will be what makes all the difference to complement my Social Security, to complement my pension. And I put away 30 to 35% of my take-home income now. That's what I do, and I live, way low on the radar, okay? So I think he should file bankruptcy, get rid of the friggin' boat. He doesn't need it. File bankruptcy, get rid of the boat, okay? Stop the job, because the job is costing so much money. Find a local sandwich shop, find a local Walmart, whatnot. Do some very minor, non-physical labor job.
And so let's get about the business of cleaning this mess up. Because for 76 years, we've been having a good time buying boats. But now it's time to go. We want to retire. We got to take care of our health.
Okay, that's the end of the video. If you really look at it, okay, if you really notice, they didn't have a whole lot of answers for him. If you really think about it, there were no real solutions, because when you are this late in your life phase and you are this far in debt, what is there to tell you at this point? other than carry on until you pass away. Think about it. No retirement, no IRAs, no Roths, no savings. They've lived their whole life this way. All right, I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit Chat. I want to thank you for joining me this Wednesday evening. I hope you will consider subscribing and have a great day. Or actually, I should say, have a great night. Bye.